Welcome to Digital Asset News, look at top stories in crypto and bring them out of bite-sized pieces. Today, as the thumbnail suggests, we are at an all-time high, the crypto market, and especially Ethereum. So this is all great news. However, there is a little bit of a person in the background calling us all greater fools. So we'll go over those two stories. I'll also take a look at what's going on with Voyager. And then lastly, take a look at a sale of an NFT for $500 million. And also an approval of an Aussie spot ETF. So great job, Australia, for once again beating America. All right, so we'll take a look at all those things. But first, before I go over the market, I just want to make mention that on the bottom left-hand corner, I always have a little icon there, and that's an NFT project that I have invested into. So on this channel, newsflash, super biased. Usually only talk about the things that I buy as far as crypto and digital assets, and NFTs are no exception. So just so you know, this is Wild Warriors. You can go check it out. Links in the description. This is a NFT project built on the Cardano blockchain. And I like that because when I went to actually purchase it, to buy, or actually to transfer over to my Daedalus wallet, cost pennies. Like, it was just amazing. So, and it was super fast, super easy. This has a pretty good one. This is from my friend Ada Ape over there on Twitter. Go check him out. And they've already dropped half of them, and they sold out in an hour. And they're going to mint the second half soon. So I would definitely follow that and see what's up, exclusive things and all that good stuff. So that is today's NFT in the bottom left-hand corner. Let's take a look at what's going on in the market. So today, pretty great day. I think most of us are in profit. Look, we've got a market cap around 2.7 something trillion, and who knows, maybe 3 trillion is right around the corner, or maybe 1 trillion. Who knows? It's cryptocurrency. If you don't like the prices, just wait. It's like the weather. It'll change. So we got Bitcoin looking at around 62, almost 63. Ethereum is the all-time high, 4,400 roughly. Binance Coin is up. Tether, nobody cares. Cardano up a whopping 0.11% and 0.26% in 25 hours. Watch out. Solana, so on and so forth. Yeah, everything's up pretty much across the board. Shiba's up. There's some pretty big ones up. And then also what's up that I find interesting is that we did a video yesterday about Facebook changing over from their name of Facebook. They're going to change their name to Meta. And they actually changed their ticker to MVRS, as in the metaverse. So they're going in pretty darn big. And I said yesterday in the video, you might want to take a look at kind of metaverse tokens such as the Sandbox and Decentraland, Mana. And actually having tweeted out, I said, hey, take a look at these two categories, gaming and metaverse. And of course, if we take a look just at those two and we see like what the price is themselves, Mana is up, 40% in the last hour. Yeah, 60% in 7 days. And of course, the Sandbox is up 14% and 40% in the last 7 days. So not hard to figure out on that one. If Facebook's going to go hard in the metaverse, usually in the crypto space, probably want to follow. So that's what's going on. And then also, just so you know, if you were lucky enough to find this sweet candle, this is the Bitcoin chart. It dropped. This is a 4-hour chart. It dropped to 58,000, and within 4 hours, it was at 61,000, somewhere around there, right? And if you would have caught that, congratulations. Looks like we still are trading into strength. RSI is in 2 oversold. And then also the ETFs or pro shares chugging along quite nicely. Not big dips or any kind of valleys. Looking pretty stable, actually. And then Valkyrie, their Bitcoin futures ETF, also looking pretty stable with ending on a high note. So looking pretty good for the weekend. So that's what's going on in the market. I think most of us are in profit. So, hey, it's a good day leading into the weekend. Let's see what the weekend brings. But the thing I want to talk about today is, and this is all good news, we also have to take a look at both sides. And this was kind of interesting. Yeah, it was interesting and interesting enough for me to talk about it on the show. This is Jim Cramer. And if you remember, not too long ago, he was on Anthony Pompliano's podcast, and people used to hate him because he used to say bad things about crypto. And all of a sudden, he was on Pomp's podcast, and he loves it. This is the greatest thing of all time. I'm going to invest into Bitcoin. And Anthony, I understand. I was kind of confused, but thanks so much for setting me straight. You're a great guy. And all of a sudden, he's like, I sold it, and I paid off my house. And now in today's video snippet, which I'm not going to play, I'm going to link it in the description so you can check it out. He pretty much says like this. Look, cryptocurrency is is all about the greater fool. So he goes, I think there's a lot of fools out there. And the only reason I'm hanging on to my Ethereum is because he thinks that there are bigger fools than himself, and he's going to offload as quickly as possible once it gets to a certain price point. So when I saw this, two things. First, it reaffirmed what I've always believed, which is that institutions and things like that, they'll dump as soon as they get their opportunities. Jim Cramer is kind of like the physical embodiment of these types of institutions. So I'm not really surprised about what's going on with Jim Cramer, things like that. And then when I really just take a step back and think to myself, okay, what could potentially happen? Because some people will say, like, Rob, you don't understand, because these institutions, they're going to be like a MicroStrategy. They're never going to sell. True. Grayscale, they're never going to sell. True. But you got to understand that these places are for profit, and it doesn't take a lot to change this market, the sentiment, and start dropping things and manipulating. It's under 3 trillion. The equities market is at 100 trillion, and they can still manipulate that. So how hard is it to manipulate over here? So when people say, Rob, you just don't understand, it's going to keep going forever, and there's the super cycle, and it'll never go down, and just going to go like little peaks, and it's going to go way up. I'm like, remember, not too long ago, May, we lost 50% of Bitcoin and pretty much the market cap. That wasn't that long ago. And that's when all these institutions are here. So you're like, you don't understand. This is my problem too, right? Me and you are not like Jim Cramer. Jim Cramer is not like us. If you watch this video, he's not like us. He doesn't believe in decentralization. He doesn't believe the dollar is going to go away. He probably doesn't believe there's a lot of huge amount of hyperinflation going to go on, or stagflation. He doesn't believe that we actually need cryptocurrencies in these in other countries, third world countries, and maybe even a world reserve. He doesn't believe in decentralized finance. He doesn't believe that in these countries they're getting eaten alive by remittance fees and technology that's not even there because they can't even pull themselves out. He doesn't believe in these types of things because he doesn't have to live it. Now, maybe at some point, at some level, he does. But again, he's not like us. You and I believe in these types of things of cryptocurrency, and we see where things are going to go, not where they're at right now or where they're going. So if Jim wants to do this, just the optics are bad because on his show, there's a lot of, let's be honest, his demographic skews boomerish, we'll say. And that's where a lot of the money is tied up into. So they don't really, they see it, don't think they get it, and that's why it's so important for education. So those types of things. And the next thing, of course, is when people say that there's no bearish winter coming. Bearish winter, even though we're all-time highs, I think we're going to go really high in November and December, and probably January, February into March. Who knows? But it's always there. And I know people will say the super cycle's here, but I just don't see it. And this guy right here, Jim, he proved it to me. All right, let me know what you think about that in the comments section, and let's move on to our next piece, a little Voyager action. So Voyager, here's some good news. So Voyager Digital becomes the official crypto brokerage partner of the Dallas Mavericks. That's pretty cool. There's Mr. Dogecoin himself, Mark Cuban, talking to Steve Ehrlich, and he's like, hey, we're going to go into as it says here, let me blow this up so you can see it, a 5-year exclusive integrated partnership with the Dallas Mavs, become the team's first crypto brokerage and international partner. This is at a press conference. And I'm like, well, that's nice. That's cute. And of course, you may have seen like the half-court shot where somebody synced basket and got 100K, had a nice Voyager hoodie. And of course, all around the whole stadium, it was packed. All around this whole stadium was just Voyager, 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 buy crypto and everything else. So it's like great marketing play. So good job for Steve and the team to get that done. But then this one was interesting to me. In 2019, the NBA granted teams the ability to provide international sponsorship rights outside the US and Canada. Well, that's great. And that's great marketing, especially if we go all over the world. But Rob, you don't understand. Voyager is only in the US and it isn't even in New York. So, and there's only, like 49, 48 states that actually get into. Just wait, because check this out. And this is old news too, but it is good. Voyager Digital secures final approval to begin operations in Europe. So this is on October 13th, kind of flew under the radar. I mentioned it quickly, But this was a review by the French authorities. I'm not going to try to pronounce those names. That Voyager Digital, its wholly owned subsidiary, LGO, and its leadership have been declared fit and proper to operate under the LGO registration. Voyager is the first non-French, non-European firm to get this designation. And of course, this was after they acquired Coinify, which is fully compliant KYC and AML solutions, as well as fiat on-ramps over 20 currencies. So this is good news for Voyager. It's good news for the Mavs. It's good news for everybody. And especially globally, it should really push everything out as far as Voyager. So that's 2 of 3. And then also, not to be outdone here, we've got limit orders. So they just implemented that not too long ago. So if you want to, say, hey, Bitcoin's trading is going to go down to 50K, great, set it at 50K, it'll fill it automatically. And then lastly, there's also this great little thing called a strategic investment from Alameda Research. $75 million got pumped in there. And then there was also a buyback program from Voyager for the VYGVF stock, because it's a publicly traded company. And of course, this is all good news to help with liquidity and market making and things like that. So look, that's the good news. Let's flip it on the head. Let's take a look at some price action. So today, well, it's 29th October, we had a pretty good pump to $3.30. And then it went down a little bit, $3. But just so you know, in like the last 3 months or so, it was actually at $6. 6 something, 626. So it's actually like down quite a bit from its all-time high. And actually, if we take a look at the 1 year, take a look at this. Its all-time high was 7 something, 697. But look at this. See, I called this around when it was 29 cents in January. On 6th of January. I said, I think this is going to $30. And I called it 29 cents. And we have to understand the last year, it's gone up 1,922%. Not too shabby. And of course, when we take a look at it, we have to remember there's different issues going on. There's problems with, customer service. I still get complaints here and there about that. No place is perfect. I do my best to bring this to the attention of Voyager. There's a problem. People talk about like the tokenomics, and sure, but also they say, well, the loyalty program's not too great. I have no problem with the loyalty program. It works out pretty well because everything that I purchase on Voyager, I get back in crypto. It's almost like Celsius because they partner with Celsius. And there's some bumps to be had, but nothing's perfect. However, it is interesting that this massive amount of news brings it to a 10% pump. And we got other different projects that really not much is going on, and they're pumping, 1,000%. That is just the way the market goes. So sometimes it's not about the fundamentals, about the team behind it and how good things are going and the partnerships that they build and how hard they're working. It doesn't matter. Sometimes it's just the way it is. And we'll see how it all works out. I still have the belief that if you have great utility and a great team and a great vision and things kind of come together and you actually execute, things will work. Those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think about that in the comments section. Let's move on to our last 2 pieces. This was interesting. This is weird, actually. So CryptoPunks NFT sells for over $500 million, $500 million. But before you get all excited about it, because like NFT is going to go to the moon. First of all, they are, but 99.9% are going to go away because it's really an ICO 2.0. But I still think there's some good products out there. This is what happened. CryptoPunks sold for $500 million. It appears that the token's original holder moved the item between 2 of their own accounts for unclear reasons. And explanations for the act was either money laundering, attention seeking, and metric inflation. So if you see this story and people are just touting it up, just remember that it was between 2 wallets of the same person, so it doesn't really matter. It's good information, but NFTs are going to be great. DAOs are going to be amazing. Decentralized autonomous organizations. And I think this goes in line with what we talked about yesterday on our video with me and Ian Bellina. So you can check it out. But that's what's going on with that piece. Then finally, congratulations, Australia, you did it. And this is just a message real quick to the SEC. So Gary, if you're watching, I know you're our fan. Mr. Gensler, this is how you do it. So Australia's top securities regulator says it will approve Bitcoin ETFs, and this is how you protect your citizen consumers. Pay attention. Australian Securities and Investments Commission has given early approval to fund managers seeking to launch Bitcoin spot ETF, exchange traded funds. And it says Safe and secure custody includes strong Bitcoin private keys in air-gapped cold storage, meaning not connected to the internet, through wallets, which are subject to robust physical security practices, redundant backups of seed phrases, stored in geographically separate locations are also required. So look, that is how you protect the consumer. You don't sue the pants off a project and bring it into court so that the whole market starts to slide down, on top of the fact that that particular product and people start losing big time because they invested a little bit too much. That's not how you do it. That's how you do it. So Australia, tip of the hat, great job. And then lastly, I'll talk about an ETF that I'm glad didn't get approved. This was also from Valkyrie, who has the futures ETF. They want to do a leverage Bitcoin ETF, which I don't know how much leverage. They want to do 2x or 10x or 100x. I have no idea, but I'm glad this didn't get approved because I'll be honest with you, the more I see people using leverage, the more I realize that people don't know what the heck they're doing. I don't know what I'm doing with leverage trades. That's why I don't do it. So I think the narrative is good right now. We don't need more volatility on top of really bad or really large amounts of volatility with leverage ETFs and whatnot. So I'm glad this didn't get approved. Maybe we'll get a spot ETF. I don't know. It's up to Gary. So that's what's going on. So look, that's it for today. A lot of things going on. If you made it to the end, first of all, thanks. I appreciate it. If you liked today's video, found some value, give it a thumbs up. Also consider subscribing. A lot of things we talk about on this channel are just moving so fast. So consider subscribing, get your information, and that's it. So thanks so much. I appreciate it. See you on the next one.